Hello everybody, welcome to 3D, Paco3D.art, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about UVs and what are UVs. Right? So I'm going to get right into it because this is going to be a relatively long video. So UVs is essentially the step that happens after the modeling. So say that you model a box or you model a barrel. Say that you want the box to look like a crate, so then you might put like the wood on the sides to make it look like a crate. Or if you got a barrel, then you might get like something that looks like oxidized, right, that's being exposed to the weather. However, just to understand a little bit the concept on, how is this applied in the real world, right? You might have something like, for example, a pizza box, right, which is one of my favorite ones. So here with the pizza box, right, you might have something that's being, usually the way that it works is it's printed first, and then in some factories they might put some holes through and then just indentation somewhere it can be folded. But then it is folded to make it look 3D, like an actual box, right? Another good example on what is a UV in something that's dimensional, it could be a cereal box, right? So this had to be printed in 3D, like it had to be printed in 2D first. And after that is they had to fold in order to make it into different parts. So if I had to draw this on top, right? So you've got here, this is like the front face, and then this is like the top face maybe, and this will be the side, and so this is like the sides there, this is the back there to tell you about the product, right? Another very good example, like when it comes, for example, anything to do with manufacturing, with fashion, with shoes, for example, like sports shoes or even leather shoes, right? This used to be flat once upon a time before the cow goes, the cow got killed. Very sorry if you're a vegetarian. But then it got cut into pieces and then stitched together, right? The same goes with clothing. Before this was like put together by a sheep or by linen or wool or whatever. This was a very long piece of fabric. Then it's being cut into pieces and then it's been stitched, right? So this will be like a seam, and this is why it's called a UV seam. With this kind of things, and then it's being stitched together to make it look 3D, right? Another very good example with this kind of stuff is, for example, origami, right? So this is used to be a flat sheet as well, and then it was folded a few times, and then they make it into a 3D thing, right? But all of this used to be 2D and then 3D. With 3D modeling, usually is done the reverse. You do the 3D first. So you do like the box, and after that you unfold it, right? Very similar to this aspect here, where you cut it into pieces, and then you've got one piece that's unfolded, a little bit like you are unwrapping a present or you are wrapping a piece of chocolate, right? Let's have a little bit of fun. But just to explain why it is called UVs, right? So we got this box, this thing here. So I'm just gonna take this out. So if we got this fella here, if it's gonna work, that is. I put it here on the side so I can see very clearly what I'm doing here. So you got these vertices, for example, right? So you got, let's say that you got like vertice 1, 2, and 3 or whatever, right? And in the position of this fella here, usually is done with, it's a position of the X, then there's a position of the Y, and there's a position of the Z. However, the additional coordinates for the texture coordinates, it's also called U and then V, right? So it goes like a few steps. You also have W for depth, but it is very extremely rarely used, maybe for shaders and weird stuff like that. But that's like, it's used very rarely. So you have U and then you have V. So if I saw this inside of like the UV editor, so you can see it very clearly on both panels. I like to go to layouts in here, save layouts, and then let's go perspective and UV editor, right? So you've got like, if I select this face here and say this was a texture, you would have this face here, right? So if this box was actually flat, what would it be? So let's say that I deleted the UVs of this box. So I'll draw a box here and I deleted those anymore. Now that information is not there at all anymore. But if I was really weird about this and I said, actually, if I wanted to grab the UVs of this, right, but I want to do this in a physical way, like I just wanted to cut the box physically, this might take a while. I could just go, okay, you know, detach components with that part there. I could move the pivot point here to align there, and I could just say, cool, so I'm just gonna grab the face of that, put it there, and I'm gonna fold it this way. And I'm gonna do the same with this guy here. Gonna do this really badly, and this is huge, by the way. Someone made a joke today, that's what she said. Anyways, detach. Put that there. Okay, select the face. Align to this. Okay, cool. So we got that part there now. Now we would have to do a cut here. So let's go detach. Okay, grab this guy here, fold this way here. And now we can select this to go here, unfold. Yeah, and you can see now more or less why we call this unwrap. Select this guy here, align that. Cool. So now this is what it would look like if it was completely flat. So if I went in here and remember how we got the Jesus Christ cross kind of thing from the box. So now if I did this here and I said, cool, I want to get these UVs, you could just go create camera based with this, if it works. Camera base, boom, right? You got the UVs. Of course, this would be extremely inefficient because no one is going to cut the model into faces, into pieces. All this time, you did not see my side of the thing there. But, you know, like if I had to undo this like step by step, it's like, you know, yeah, you're just unfolding it this way and then this way. And then that one goes here, and then this one then goes there, right? So it's like you are essentially doing an unwrap. But how would you do this from scratch? So feel free to pause in some times because I'm gonna be quite quick about this. So let's make a new box. Let's move this guy here to make my fella a little bit smaller because you don't need to see me anymore. Okay. So let's go in here now. Let's make a new box. All right, like yay big. And the first thing that I'm gonna ask, which is for you to open, like you can go inside of your modeling in here. You can have a separate window, the same window. You've got your UV editor here. But if you want to make sure that you've got the same setup, if you only have one monitor, like I've got here myself, you can just go here, panels, save layout, and then you can go perspective and UV editor, and that's how you can have it on the same screen, right? Which is going to be a lot more useful. Next is we're going to delete the UVs because it's already got UVs by default. So if I go inside of the UV editor in here, I'm going to hold down the right click button. So I'm going to go right click, hold that UVs, and I'm going to delete these UVs entirely, right? So then we don't see that in here anymore. And we're going to start from scratch. We're going to go draw a big box and delete those. Right now we got no UVs whatsoever. So one way that you can make UVs is you can just go inside of create, and you've got a bunch of ways here that you can create this too, right? And you can find this in multiple places. Like if you select the box here, and you go like select the face, for example, right click, you got mapping here as well. So you've got a few options in there too. So that's another place that you can find it. But the other way that you can make UVs, and I recommend that you click all of this. We're going to go through all of this one by one. This is going to be a very long video, by the way. So feel free to skip forward or backwards or whatever. And the other location that we have is if we go here, let's take out this guy because I don't want him anymore. Let's go inside of View Tools. So show UV Toolkit, just here. If we click on this, you're going to get this little fella, UV Toolkit, and we can put that here on the right there. If it's going to let me. It's not going to let me. I'm going to move this on the side. Put that there. There you go. Now it's there. Okay, and if we go in here, there should be a create, and you've got this too. So every software's got 3 places where you can do everything to make your life a lot easier, right? So that's done. However, when it comes to a box or something like this, automatic is usually really good because it will do all the sides for you, but it's going to do it in a bad way. Like some stitching is required. So if I go now, select this, and I go automatic, what it's going to do is it's going to look at all 6 cardinal directions. So it's going to go left, right, center, up and down, and front and forward, right? And it's going to do this. It's just going to slap them together really quickly. Okay. And you should be able to then like do a little bit of stitching. But as you remember earlier, like we had the cross. That's a very common way to how do I say this, to make the most out of the space of UVs. And you want to make sure that you've got optimization, like you optimize how much space is taken. So think about it this way. It's a little bit like the triangle, right? So you've got how much distortion or not distortion do you have? Then you have, okay, how much space you're taking, and also textile density, right? And you just have to have a balance of these elements together. So in order to do some stitching, I'm going to like select one of the edges here. And one thing that I do remember, whenever you do this automatic UVs, it's a good idea to press this button here to see if everything is blue, and everything is blue. So that's very good. Also, that's distortion. Is it this one maybe? Just to see if it is back or forward. That's distortion. So that's overlapping UV. So yeah, everything's forward. So now what you can do is like select this guy here, go select one edge, shift, right click, move and show edges. So what that's going to do is going to teleport and move it and connect it there. You can do it again one more time like this, and then you can go up and then down and then down. And now this is where you've got, and I'm pressing G in order to repeat the command. And now again, you got the cross there. And now this is like a UV set, right? Thing is, I'm pressing this button here so we can see the grid with the squares. Now we got this fella here, right? And usually you want to make sure that everything fits within the grid in here, right? And sometimes it's easy to know, like if you got something like that or like this or like that, you see how all of that's overlapping. So you want to make sure that you've got this area here, and then you might move it in here, and then you might go like you got W, E, R. So you got move, E is for rotate, R is for scale. So I'm going to scale that down a little bit. And now this is going to fit in here. So we got now the UVs fit in here. And this is like a very good way to make UVs, certainly, for a box. But let's crank this up. Let's do this again one more time, but let's do it the unfold method, right? So that was like, okay, the sew and stitch method, very good for architecture. So let's do this again one more time. So I'm just gonna, again, delete this guy now. Do a new box. Gonna now squish him a little bit here to make it more look like an actual cereal box, like that. And what's important about this, whenever you do like stretching or skewing, and I'm doing this on purpose for a reason, is so, and now it's sitting there on the grid. It is so, it is very important that you go Control A a couple of times, and you freeze these transformations there. So you just select those three, freeze scales, because otherwise the unfold is not going to work very, very well. Okay. So now that we've got that there, I'm going to delete the UVs. I'm going to go UV mode, draw a big square. I'm going to delete them, and we're going to start from scratch. So the unfold method, the first step is in the 3D view, just it doesn't matter what you pick because it's going to be done automatically. We're going to go inside of the create here, we're going to go create, and then we're going to go camera base. So what it's going to do is it's going to replicate the wireframe that you've got with the serial box, and then it's going to like mimic, and it's going to look the same in the UVs, right? So it's going to look like this, right? Camera based, right? And the only reason why we do this is just to have something, that is visible there and you can see it and you can work with it, right? Just you need to have some existing UVs at first. The next part is we're going to do some unfold, right? So in order to like remember how when I was cutting the box earlier, so if I got this part here, these are like, I like to call this C intersections. And the reason why we do the C intersection, so if I go, I'm going to undo this in a second, so you don't need to do this with me. So if I detach that, select that, go here, and I go, cool, I'm going to rotate that now. So this is what we're doing essentially, right? So we are going to unfold this guy here, and then unfold that one. And this is why I call this a C intersection. I'm not talking that kind of intersection, girl. I'm talking like this one there. But then we are going to, the next part is we need to cut one of these lines. So let's, for example, like cut this one here. So I'm going to do detach that, move this face, select that one here. And then after that, we are going to like unfold around that way. So the way that it looks like this is if I undo that and I connect all those parts there again and make sure that that's all welded. Now it is welded yet. Good that I checked. Cool. So that's welded and that's welded. In order to do that, yeah, we're gonna just go select this guy here, C intersection, then go down like that, C down. Then we go 1, 2, 3. So we got another C there. Okay. C down, C down. We got that part there. We go cut. So we cut those guys. UVs. Select, like I'm just double clicking. I'm just going double click. So I'm selecting everything in one go. And then shift right click. And you got a shock over this, which is Control and U for unfold. And then we go unfold. Boom. Done. You got the UVs there. If I brought the cereal box here, I reckon I could just put that on top there really easily. I could just use that, no problem, as an image and put that there and it would work. Okay. So I'm going to do this now a lot faster one more time. So, but it's going to be super fast, so you better not blink. So I'm going to go the cube. All right, and I know that we got UVs to start with. Like it's very stupid of me doing from scratch, but it's just for you to learn. So I'll go UVs, delete this. I'm gonna transform like freeze transformation. So if you hold down A, left click, freeze transformations. So you have to hold down A and then hold the left click. Okay, so now we got the transformations there fixed, and now we're going to do the C. Then this guy, and then go here, here, here. Oh, we need to create something first. Create camera based, something existing. Click here, 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 and then down. And this is the unfold method. All right. So now I'm showing you two methods, right? I'll go and yeah, cut, and then select the UVs, unfold, done, voila. And if for whatever reason you want to like move this around, you can just like select any of this, guys here, cut, and then I can go select this one, move and connect, and move other things around as I need to, right? Or I can like disconnect this one, cut, and then I can put it here if I want and move that across, right? It doesn't matter too much. Cool. This is for a box, right? And after the box, I'm going to do the cylinder. After the cylinder, I'm going to do the spheres, maybe a torus, and we're going to keep on going. This video, like I said, it's going to be quite long, 20 minutes. It might go for an hour. That's pretty normal teaching UVs to this basic level. And after that, I might do okay, cool, you've learned the basics of UVs. Let's unwrap something a bit more complex, right? So now, within the box, how would you do a cylinder? So the cylinder is, let's do a cylinder here, same deal, delete this, okay. And perhaps I should show like the UVs there to show what are good UVs and bad UVs. Whenever you see UV, say they will fit it in here, you move that in there, you fit it in there. Bad UVs would be like if I select this guy here, for example, right? And I move this way. Now this is bad deformation UVs, right? Or if I move this around and I got something like this and it looks like really weird, that's bad UVs. Because see, what you have to think is, imagine if each of these squares was a pixel, right? And they were a lot smaller than this. These would be really elongated and distorted pixels. So this is like something that you do not want. You want to have like something that's like nice and straight as well. So if I go to my website, I'm not trying to promote anything, it's just got UVs examples in there. I wonder if this one's got any. Definitely not that one. Don't remember now if this one's got UVs. Like for example, yeah. So this guy here, which is an asset that I put together. I did it for fun as a challenge to see how long I could model this. So this is a ZBrush retopology UVs texturing. So that's usually the workflow. You go from sculpting, retopology, UVs, and then texturing. But this guy here, so that's like the retopology, which I've done like a weird combination of remesher and retopology in some areas there. But this is what it will look like flat. So you can see here how we want things to be like kind of aligned straight. So all the pixels follow along in a certain direction. I've got the face, like you can see here, for example, the nose, like that's like linear as well. So, and also here you got the chest thing here at the back. That's also like in the back too. But if we go here, for example, my sharpshooter, same deal. So we've got UVs are organized to be nice and neat and linear, but also you want to try to make sure that you fit as much as possible. So here, for example, with my pants, I have used a technique to make sure that they are nice and straight to fit the pixels as clean as possible as well. And this is a great example of using a cylindrical UVs, right? So you got something that sits straight and it goes linear in that way, right? I might use one last example of UVs. Let's use this one here. Yeah, there you go. So these are UVs. So this is a prop asset. And I've used 2 UV sets. So we've got one for the plastic and one from the accessories and the buttons and stuff like that. And you've got the UVs there, right? Which it is to display the texture information for that model. Yeah. All right. Blah, blah. Let's go now to a cylinder. So the cylinder is, yeah, you've got the top and you got the bottom and then you got the thing that goes around. Think of it as a label kind of a thing a little bit. But again, we're gonna go to, let's do something a bit more basic. So I'm just gonna press T for edit tool. I learned that the other day. It's not T for Toronto, it's edit tool. And I'm just gonna do something a bit more basic, or you know what? No, let's do complex. Let's do crazy 50 make it really big. Cool. So let's do something that's kind of complicated, just for the sake of fun. All right. And now I'm gonna show you again the two methods. So I'm gonna show you the unfold method, and I'm gonna show you the the create method. So the create method is, so we got UVs, delete, first step, have nothing. So the first thing you need to do is you select, I'm gonna select the top, the middle vertex there, and I'm gonna do a convert selection. So it's gonna say, okay, anything that's attached to that middle vertex, hold Control right click, to faces. So it's gonna now select all those top faces. And I'm gonna go to the next create method is planner. But this one here is a pain in the neck because you need to click on this box here. And then you have to go in one of the axes. This case is going to be the Y axis because it's looking upwards and Y is up. And then you go Y axis and apply. However, the other day I found a really cool shortcut that I was not even aware about. So you can do this by holding down. Like, this is now a different method to do the same thing without you having to go to the options. You can just hold down Shift, right click, and then you go to the third last option where mapping is. Aha. And then there you go. You got planner on the 3 axis, just like that. So I'm just gonna go planner Y. Boom. There you go, baby. So I'm just gonna scale that down, make it a little bit more organized. Move it there. All right. And I'm gonna prepare this for something that I want to teach about. So I'm gonna make it very tiny, which would be bad on purpose, right? Very small. I'm gonna repeat this same command there. So I'm just gonna go do that the same there. I'm gonna go vertex mode, select that one vertex, and go hold down Control, right click, and go 2 faces. Yeah. And now if I go again, mapping, Y, boom. And I'm gonna make this on purpose a lot bigger, right? And I'm gonna tell you why this textile density here against that is bad in a second. Now, to do along the sides, you could just draw a box like that. Just go sideways with the camera. Just go camera view like this. Go a little bit sideways like that. And draw a little square like that. And now that's all of them selected. And this is now another new create method. So if I go here, I wonder if mapping, there you go. So you got that as well. Let's use the same one, just not to get too confused. Cylindrical map. And this one's going to give you a gizmos, which is going to look like this, right? And this is the one that you can go, okay, so you can make this elongated or not. But you see how the squares look like rectangles? They look like elongated rectangles. This is not ideal. You want to make sure that this is actually being pushed this way. Okay, and now that's looking more square-like. And that's a little bit better. All right, so now that we've got this, this is where, yeah, we can move this around. Put that there, scale it down, and make it fit. Let's say that we got this guy here now, and we're gonna try to fit in as much as possible in here. By the way, you only need to do this for unique texturing. So say if this was like a can of Coke, for example, then you would have to make sure that everything fits in the same square, and then you do the texturing, right? But for architecture, things that repeat, you can go outside as much as possible, and then it would repeat the texture, right? So they got 2 types of doing UVs. The third one is, sorry to confuse you, the third one is UDIMs, but that's for visual effects, and that's when you've got plenty of maps for one character, like Avatar or something crazy like that, where maybe one character has got like 50 maps, right? And it's like, ooh, it's 1,000,000 gigabytes. Anyways, now we got very big squares here. We got very tiny squares here. And this guy is matching this one a little bit. So let's make it even more obvious. So let's go, all right, cool. We got something that's a lot smaller, medium, and small. And let's say that this would be really blurry with the textures there. And this will be like, okay, and this is like way too detailed, right? You might not want this. You want to make sure that everything has got a consistent Texel density. Texel density is quite hard to explain, but what it is that you want the same size of pixels across the whole model to make sure that things don't look too blurry or things do not look too sharp in some parts of the model. So in order to explain texel density, which is like you can like go quite deep, but let's go texel density games, and I'm sure there will be like an image that explains. This guy here explains it very well, but I think you have to pay in order to see that. One of my favorite games to use texel density as an example, as a bad example, is Final Fantasy VII, the new game, because some things looks texel density Final Fantasy VII. I'm sorry, I do like the game, but the texel density in that game in some areas is bad. Like some I remembered some doors in some places you would be like, wow man, the character looks really good. All right, so here for example, texel density is very good because everything that you see here is got like 1 meter, so it's got the right resolution. Here for example, look at the character. The character looks really sharp and really good. But then you've got this wall here, it's starting to look very blurry. But then here you see the door is kind of sharp and the floor is kind of sharp as well. So this is a very good example of bad texel density for a game, because you want to make sure that resolution is consistent across everything. So this is now, for example, Final Fantasy, and I think the image is loading. So this is a very bad image. But here, this is a close-up, for example. You can see how here this is very blurry, but here this is very sharp, right? I don't want to get too in depth with this anymore because I think you got the point, and I could do a whole video about this. But here, for example, you see how this rocks is kind of blurry, and then cloud looks insane amazing, right? So in order to make sure that everything's got the same texture density, what we can do is select the ones that we're happy with. This guy's there because it can't be any bigger than that because it fits in there. And we can go inside of the UV toolkit options and go inside of where it says transform. So we open this tab in here. Then we go all the way to the button where it says texel density. We can press the get button. So this now says that's going to be a 93 pixels per unit. So that's how it works. And then we can press this tool here and press set. So now everything is going to have the right texel density. So if I go in here now and move this there and move this one here, we can see now that this box and this box, they're both the same size, right? And so now this is good texel density across the whole model. All right. By the way, if your boxes are not the same size as me, you're wondering about that. I might have changed this at some point. You have to go inside of textures here, check a map, and click on this box here. And this is where I don't remember what are the default, like if I press reset settings, apply, you might have like apply and close. It's not updating. That's not a bug that happens as well with Maya. It doesn't update, but that's where you can change it when it's working. Okay, cool. All right, now let's do the unfold version. So the unfold version, let's say the way that you can do this is we go UVs, delete this. Okay, and now we got no UVs again, so that's a wonder. We're gonna do again camera project, and there's a reason why one or the other works. Like sometimes I feel like, okay, camera project version works better for organic shapes, but then if you got mechanical or hard surface, then the other one works better. So camera based, I'm gonna go double click this edge here, double click this edge there. Again, very similar to the scene intersection where you just select one thing to cut in the middle. So I'm gonna select this one there. And then now that I've got that selected there, and this is the thing, you're always going to need to make a cut somewhere so it breathes out and it opens out like a flower. I'm going to go in here, cut, UV modes, unfold, and then I'm going to do the same for these guys there. Control U, unfold, that's it. And now if I want to make sure that everything has got the same consistent size, we can go get and then set, and now everything's going to be the same size, right? Now you might be thinking, hold on a second, man, this guy here, he looks drunk, he looks like he went out for a party. And you're like, oh no, not in my watch, this is a little bit funky. If you can do these manually, be like, oh yeah, is this straight, is that straight, I don't know, ooh, I don't know. But if you want to make sure that this is straight, you can just go edge mode, select one of these guys, and then go shift right click, and then go to the 1 o'clock option, straighten shell. And now that's going to make it nice and straight. Okay? Now, if you ever want to like fit this in the box and you're lazy and you're like, you know what, I just want to fit it in the box, but I don't want to figure out how big it is or how things are being matching or anything, you can select the UV islands like that, shift right click, shift and right click together and hold it, and then you can go layout UV, and that will automatically fit it inside of that box very neatly. Sometimes you might need to scale it in there, but that's fine. And yeah, that's it. Very simple. Now, let's do, because now this video is getting rather long, it's 36 minutes. So I just want to do maybe, I want to do the cone and I want to do the torus and the sphere, but I want to be a lot faster with this. I'm just going to go click, 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 click. And I'm just going to use the unfold version with this. So we got the cone. Oh, UVs, delete this. If how do I explain this? Sometimes unfold doesn't like weird endgons. So what I'm gonna do with this part here, I'm just gonna, you can do like unscrew it like that, and then merge this in the middle. So we got that guy there. So now what I'm gonna do is, yeah, I'm just gonna go select camera based, double click here, cut it. And then I'm just gonna maybe select this one there, so it breathes as well. Cut it as well. And now I'm just gonna select this, unfold, right? The reason why I'm doing UVs with primitives is that if you can do any primitive without thinking, you can use the same method with making UVs pretty much with any object quite easily. And I'll show you that once we do the exercise. And now with this guy here, you can select one of these guys here, move and connect, and now that's one UV island as well. Right, quite easily, just like that. Next, let's do a torus. A torus, you've got multiple ways of doing it. You can do it as a tube, or you can do it, essentially it's like an elongated cylinder kind of a thing. Or you can do it like you got the top piece and the bottom piece. So if we go torus, right? Again, we're gonna go create camera based. So you can just go in the middle here, select the outer, and then double click the inner. By the way, if you're struggling modeling wise to make the selections and you're like, how the hell is it double clicking here, double clicking there so quick and doing all these things, maybe watch my video tutorials, and some of the video tutorials will show you how to be a little bit faster with those things. So we got those selected, shift right click in here, cut. All right, select this guy there, shift right click, unfold, and then press G to do repeat command. So we got those two pieces now. And this is what it looks like, okay, how it's unfolded there. Now with this method here, not a huge fan, because you can see here how there's a little bit of weird funkiness, deformation going on there. Not super good. And you know, some areas it's a little bit weird, okay, but you know, if texture this, most people might not realize. So now the next method is you can go again, go create camera based. That, and I said, oh, the UVs here are perfect. Hang on. So now let's do the tube method. So what you can do is like select the outer there and then select the inner there. So it's essentially like a cross. It's going to be a bit easier to see if we click that there for a second. So just got there in the middle. It goes all around the middle there. And then another one that goes around the outside there. And now if I cut those, I go cut. And then I go unfold. It's going to do that. Right? Which the UVs might look, if I rotate this around, it might look a little bit straighter. But you can see how it's okay, but it's not like this look a bit too elongated this way, and then this one looks elongated that way. So it's you can see how some are good, some are not great, and you've got a little bit of like weird distortion going on. So the thing you can do with this, if you want to be like really particular, there is a there's an unfold method there where you can go straight in UVs or straight in shell. So if I click any of these guys there, you see how it's trying to be straight. It's not doing a very good job, however. But I know there is a tube version of doing this where it will unfold like a tube. It might be this create here one where it says contour stretch. So let's try this one here. It's not doing a very good job at the moment. Because sometimes, this is going to be a little bit technical the way that I'm doing this. Like sometimes you can just go move this one there, move this one here, like that. And then you select the middle ones there. And then you go unfold. So now that's a little bit more straighter. And then you go straight into this here, and now that's going to do a bit of a better job. And now we can just go unfold this direction, unfold that direction, maybe. Now it's fold this direction. And now that's going to make it a little bit more uniform across both sides, kind of. Yeah, UVs, it's going to be very hard to make everything perfect. Now, the last one that I wanted to do is making UVs of a sphere. Sphere is arguably, to get the best distortion, best of everything, it's going to be hardest. Because if you look at the planet of the world here, for example, like in the past there were like many versions on maps. Like we got maps where you got two spheres or two circles. So sorry, you might need to skip this ahead if you're like, oh man, he's got another theory lesson coming up. But if you go medieval map of the world, yeah, you're gonna get this like circular kind of maps. So that's going to be like one way on, on how there were maps done in the past. But you will also get like these weird triangulated cuts, like let's say old map of the world. Like, yeah, this is the one that I mean, where you got two gigantic spheres. So this is like one way that I'm going to do the UVs, where you've got like two circles. But it's still going to look a little bit weird distorted. Like this one here is kind of interesting because you got the top and the sides here as well. So you got like looking at the world from the bottom or the top, where there's a little bit less distortion. This one here is kind of interesting as well because you can see how it's got a little bit of that circular thing going around. So that was another way that there were UVs. Well, you can do UVs of a sphere. There was one that I was kind of keen to see if they had it, which has got another very weird shape. But it was a very good way to show them up in a very less, wow, talking about funky donkey. What the hell is this, man? That looks crazy. Oh, this one too looks very interesting. But anyway, sorry, now I'm getting a bit derailed with my point of making UVs for a sphere. So let's get started. So if we go here now, again, let's delete this. All right, so now we're gonna do the UVs where you got the top faces. I'm gonna pick a rotation that makes sense. Just gonna make sure that I'm recording this correctly. Okay. So I'm gonna go. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, feel free, please, because I would like to make some more tutorials. And yeah, if you got any questions or suggestions about anything, let me know. And if you need any videos done, I can do some for you too. So I'm gonna select the top faces there. Okay, and I'm gonna go now create. I'm gonna go yeah, camera base. It doesn't matter. Select this guys, and I go unfold. So you got the top faces there. And I'm gonna do the same for the bottom there. So you can go there, do the same thing, create, camera based, and now I'm just gonna go there, unfold. Now, I did a little boo-boo there, where I've got two faces that's got no UVs. That's perfectly fine, no problem. Now, I can do the same there, do these two guys there, and let's do a mapping of whatever. It doesn't, camera based, whatever. Let's say that something like this happens, you're like, oh no, how do I fix this? Very easily. Just go edge mode in here, select this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, like that, and then go connect. Right, and now if you got this, you'll be like, oh no, what do I do? Just select those guys there, unfold, and then do another unfold there. Done. Fixed. Now, as you can see here, the distortion, it's a little bit weird, but you know, the next best thing you can do in order to, like, you know, like, remove some of that distortion again, is like do these cuts here. So go cut, and now they're gonna look like little wedges. So you can have unfold, 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 and now it's gonna look like this. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The more cuts that you do like this, the less distortion is going to be with the sphere. So if I go here for a second, show viewport, I'm just gonna have this up for a second there. Yeah, can you see how here now there is a lot less distortion? Everything is looking a lot more perfectly square. It's going to look better. But now you're going to have more UV islands. Now you got 4 UV islands. And apparently, this is something that I learned recently as well. The more UV islands you have with a model, the more performance it takes a bit of a hit. So if I decided to have every single piece here cut, and then unfolded, please don't do this, because I don't even know what the hell would happen. And then if you go, this is the worst UVs ever. Don't do this, please, I beg of you. Yeah, no, you would have very poor performance, and doing the UVs of this would look terrible. And also, like, wow, I just don't even want to think. Like, yes, distortion wise would be perfect. Everything would be perfectly like square. But if you had to do texturing with this, not too sure what would happen. It would be terrible. And you've got now here 400 UV shells. This is terrible, terrible, terrible. So it's funny how I'm like trying to teach you what not to do. So if I went, okay, cool. So if I grow that selection there for a second, and I went, cool, just go to edges, contain edges, right? And I went now, move and connect that. So now that's like, you know, this is already looking better, right? So yeah, try to avoid like that. All right, guys, I think I'm going to finish the video because this is going to be a really, really long video otherwise, but I will try to, you know, yeah, I'm just gonna try to do something that's perhaps a little bit shorter with UVs in the next video, but we're gonna do something that's a bit more complicated. However, you don't need to wait for me. You can do this yourselves. So if anyone is following, you want to do UVs, there is this thing up here in the content creator. So let's click on that for a second. Like once you've done like once you've done a bunch of these primitives and you're like, cool, cylinder, cone, I recommend that you do cylinder a few times, cone a few times, cube a few times, torus, and sphere. You do the UVs and you make sure that the distortion looks nice and they fit in here. Once you've done that, you go to the poly modeling here, content browser, and just there is one of these humans, and it's going to be a little bit difficult, but if you got here inside of the modeling, let's open that, sculpting basis. So there is a prop, a vehicle, so doing a car might be a bit complicated. Don't do that yet, but I would recommend that you do maybe the dagger or the katana or one of these weapons, right? So I will do this with you guys soon. Or one of the animals as well could be fun, so we could do that as the second or third video. But let's say that you got weapons here, katana, double click. It's gonna have UVs already by default, right? Which is a great way of seeing how they've done the UVs as well. So you can be like, oh, cool. So this is how they've done the UVs, and this is what it's looking like, right? But yeah, what I want you to do is right click UVs, you delete these, make a big box, delete them, and then go, all right, cool. Do these UVs, how we should do them, right? That looks a little bit like a very flat cylinder. And, you know, that looks like another flat cylinder. And yeah, if you had to make UVs, you would cut them from here, right? And you would cut these from here. And then this looks like a very elongated box as well. So you would go, all right, so this looks like a big gigantic box. Where would the UV seams be and how would you stitch them, right? But this is for another video that we can do together. So we'll do a few of these models with the UVs to get you acquaintance. All right. Anyways, remember guys to subscribe. It helps me to get a few numbers. At the moment I am at 200 and maybe 10 units with a subscription. If I ever get 1 million subscribers, I'm gonna be like, well, okay, that's enough. But I don't think I'll ever get 1 million. But these kind of videos do take a lot of time to think and a lot of time to put together. And yeah, I would love your help and support. And like I said earlier, if you got any questions or any suggestions on how to make any other videos, so if there's something you're not sure about, if you need any feedback, I would love to make some more feedback videos. If you're like, cool, I want to look for work and I'm not getting hired and things are not happening, I'm more than happy to show the portfolio online to say, okay, cool, I'm gonna do like a feedback session and give you some feedback on your portfolio as well. All right. Anyways, I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye.